Bitcoin continues to slide as FUD starts to overwhelm the market. Playboy announces their very own cryptocurrency wallet along with an integration with Vice Industry Token. And Bitmain plots its move to America as it pursues a residence in Washington state along with an ultra-low taxation environment. We got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your daily FUD TV update starts now. Jumping right in on the Bitcoin charts, we can see that we have worked our way down significantly from our highs of just a week or so ago of March 5th, where we were sitting pretty at just under 12K, trying to break that 12K resistance. We see we have fallen now to just above 8,000. Honestly, we were as low as 7,900 within the last 24 hours, as you can see. And the reality is that we have started to sort of slow down this fall and maybe even make a little bit of growth back. As we can see over the last month, whenever we've seen falls of significant proportion here, whether it was starting with on the 17th when we made it all the way down to 14,000 and then popped back up in the next day or two to almost 17,000. And then we fell again 17th of January to 10,000 and quickly worked our way back up to about 13,000. Again, we toppled down to about 6,000, 5,900 back on February the 6th. And within a few weeks, a few days, we had worked our way back up to about 12,000, almost a doubling of the money here if you had managed to grab this dip of 5,900. And then we've sort of gotten beaten down from this $12,000 mark. And FUD is really sort of starting to be the driver here. Fear, uncertainty. People are used to this bull market, and they're not really very comfortable with these slouches that Bitcoin has been enduring. So obviously, despite this good news of adoption on many fronts, which we're going to go over in another segment in a few minutes, the reality is that this Bitcoin line is really indicative of what's going on here. We have a lot of reports that obviously there was a whale out of Tokyo that was connected with the Mt. Gox hack that was selling off, but we haven't had any more word of that Tokyo whale selling off. So it's kind of confusing. I think a lot of people are searching for answers as to what's causing this Bitcoin slump. But in this investor's honest opinion, I think this is just fatigue, right? The market is a bit fatigued. There was so much, look at this. We're now almost exactly 3 months since the beginning of the great decline of 2018, late 2017. You can see here that since the 17th of December, things have been very rocky and generally downward and sideways. So as we start looking at the past 3 months, we can see that it has been quite bearish. But to be honest, if you're an adept trader and learning to really buy these bottoms and learning to sort of see the bottoms and buy them and trade with momentum, I'm not advocating that you go start trading if you don't know about trading. If you're an experienced trader, you're probably being able to make some good gains here, but of course it is quite risky as you don't know which way, not even Nostradamus, as I said, could predict what tomorrow holds in the cryptocurrency market. While the news and the media and the hype has really seemingly simmered with this drop, the reality is that many other projects, many other forms of adoption have really come along. Speaking of an interesting form of adoption, we have news that Playboy is going to release their very own crypto wallet and integrate it with Vice Industry Token. This is really amazing because it shows that Vice Industry Token is really rounding up some big heavyweights in the industry. And we all know that Vice's sort of business model is about essentially incentivizing the viewership or the viewing of adult content. And the way they're going to do that is that it's essentially going to be mined. You mine coins by actually watching adult content. For anyone who's been following the Vice Token project, it's pretty interesting because you can see how as soon as they start getting great content here and actually paying people to watch high quality adult content, you could actually see this really going somewhere as they've really used the tokenized economy to flip the sort of value propositions. They're saying this innovation gives the millions of people who enjoy our content as well as those in the future who participate in our casual gaming, AR, and VR platforms more choices with regard to payment. In the case of VIT, and important to be rewarded for engaging with Playboy offerings. So you can see that they're already actually engaging in AR and VR platforms, which totally makes sense. And there would also be an evolution for them where they could also start offering different types of products and dApps that are based on the Vice Industry Token. And so if they're going to go with VIT and not create their own token, then it seems like Vice Industry Token could really start to become the adult token, even though there are a few competitors in that field. Next comes the news that cryptocurrency mining giant Bitmain is moving to America to the city of Walla Walla, or the port of Walla Walla, which is a city in Washington. Obviously, Washington has been making crazy news with the amount of essentially incentives that they have for cryptocurrency mining with extremely cheap and oftentimes free hydroelectric power, as well as almost zero taxes in the state. I believe it's a zero tax state. There are a ton of incentives and reasons why cryptocurrency miners are flocking to the state, and this is just one more example of how big big powers that be in the industry are considering Washington to be the new home of cryptocurrency mining, along with Canada and some other places. If this is true, it would seem that they are leasing this property for just $4,166. I haven't confirmed this, but this seems insanely cheap, as it's less than the price of one second-hand S9. Obviously, they've come down significantly in price. You can actually get S9s now for about $2,000, and there's not really a limit on the amount of S9s that they're producing or that you can buy. It's much less limited, and it sort of gives the impression that Bitmain might be flooding the market either to compete with other producers or because it's the end of life for their miners. That's mostly conjecture, but up for you to decide. Finally, there's mention that this expansion is due to a crackdown on cryptocurrencies from the Chinese government. However, we have heard constant word that it's actually due to electricity costs that people are moving to Washington and Canada. So it's not so clear that the Chinese government is actually cracking down as much as they say they are on cryptocurrency mining. Finally, we have to talk about FUD. Obviously, just yesterday, we heard that Google is really cracking down on the use of cryptocurrency advertisements and ICO ads, different speculative investment products, such as this guy right here who's promising to find the next Bitcoin, or he's the crypto genius that's going to tell you exactly what you need to know. This kind of content has really damaged the reputation of the cryptocurrency industry, so it is quite good that Google's going to start cracking down on it. And to be quite honest, this might actually lead to a flourishing of the good content and the good influencers in the space. We're certainly fingers crossed around that. But the reality is that this is not really a time for FUDding. Even though Bitcoin price is slumping slightly, we were down at $6,000, $5,900 just a few weeks ago. And now all of a sudden we've seen the recovery, how dramatic it was. So the fact that we haven't exploded past to an all-time high, and the fact that this is causing a ton of FUD, even after we're getting acknowledgement from major companies. We just literally covered how Playboy is introducing a crypto wallet. We now know that Amazon customers are widely considering using crypto and that they're clearly considering this foray. We have announcements by so many big industrial, institutional players in this game, and it just seems silly that people are so FUDdy. Obviously, every process of adoption has its cyclical ups and downs. However, time for FUD is really, I think, not really now. I understand why people are feeling FUDdy, why people are feeling cruddy, but really, if we refer to the man himself, one of the biggest sort of long-term Bitcoin bulls, we can see that John McAfee explains here that this whole cryptocurrency market is not about investing in what's going on right now. The reason why people are seeing supernatural gains and becoming Lambo Moon rich is because they're investing in technologies that are speculative, that have not proven themselves, but could one day come to occupy this significant impact on the economy. So, like McAfee says, if you're a long-term investor, you will have no concerns. Right? If you're a short-term, I can give you no other advice other than short-term investors can hope for mediocrity at best and oblivion at most likely. Great wealth can only be obtained in investing in the future, 2 to 5 years. So 2 to 5 years is really, and I've heard this from many cryptocurrency people. I'm not saying John McAfee's words are gospel here, but this is a sentiment that I do agree with here, and that is because cryptocurrencies are about investing in future technology. Now, anyone can invest in Ethereum and go, wow, it's this thing that's going to blow up and do all these things, and everyone's going to build on it. Yo, you missed that boat. Ethereum's still going to gain value, but it's time to moon from $0 or $1 up to $1,000. That already happened. And so when you're investing in good cryptos for the future or good ICOs, you can't expect a tomorrow return. You can't expect a next month return. You have to be willing to wait for that technology to come and deliver on the promises that it made in its white paper and its ICO stage. So if you understand the development of technology and the timeline on which that happens, you won't have any concerns in this market. In fact, you'll be quite excited because this is honestly a big sale. And after seeing the resilience of the market, it didn't crash. It came right back from $5,900 Bitcoin. And now you've seen that it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. The community is huge. It's strong. Our total market caps have been over November values. So it's not like we've been reset in time back to like 2013 or something. We're just going back a few months, and people who are in this for the long term really aren't that shaky. In fact, a lot of them are looking to even accumulate more and develop bigger positions in the coins they believe in. So a lot of people are walking around looking like this guy right here, and that's because they have unrealistic expectations about what should be happening in the cryptocurrency market. You know, we're really here to help you deal with the FUD on FUD TV. That was the initial reason we created this channel, and this channel has only really been alive during a bear market. We've not actually had a time of real bull run since we started this channel just about 5-6 weeks ago. The reality about the people here on FUD TV is that we are believers and evangelists of the technology that powers this whole blockchain revolution. We believe in the future of these technology projects, and the reality is that we're willing to wait to see them prove out on their value points. Unfortunately, many people come into this cryptocurrency world not quite understanding what is actually happening, what they're investing in, why these projects have value, and why maybe some go up in value today versus some don't go up in value today. Honestly, the value proposition for investing in cryptocurrency is long-term. We're talking about paving an entirely new infrastructure for the next generation of our economy. That doesn't happen overnight. We're literally talking about creating new monetary systems that haven't been created in centuries, if ever. So the reality is that we have a ton of work to do here, and there is just not going to be a quick and easy path to success. The people that you've heard making millions off cryptocurrency have likely been in the industry, have been investors in projects for probably quite a long time. It's probably not their first rodeo that they've just gotten incredibly rich off of. Maybe those people exist out there, but the real investors that have done well in this space are in it for the long run, and they're in it for the technology. So if you guys want to save yourself some emotional strife, learn to wait, learn to hodl, and learn to understand that the actual payoffs are 2 to 5, maybe even more years away, that this market is still blossoming. But once it blossoms and it does take over the economic impact and the economic responsibility that we're hoping it does take over, it will produce crazy gains. But unfortunately, we're just not there yet. So for everybody wanting to be rich yesterday, understand that the FUD is kind of your friend sometimes. When we're looking at the markets plummeting and this and right, we're looking at a chance to accumulate more coins. I mean, in my opinion, I'm able to accumulate more coins now on projects that I love, and I'm just as infatuated as I was with them 2 months ago, except guess what? They cost a fraction of the price. So obviously this isn't financial advice, and if you have bills or you have financial impositions in your life, please handle them. This isn't a professional financial advice segment. We're just here to commiserate with you and to be your friends through the FUD, and to explain that this FUD is really, it's not that it's unwarranted, it's just that it's only really FUDdy if you're looking only at the price. If you're looking at the progress, if you're looking at the tech, if you're looking at the announcements, literally we just covered that Playboy is introducing a crypto wallet. I mean, household names are moving into crypto, and this process isn't immediate, but it will be extremely lucrative for those who are staked out in good coins and for those who are staked out in projects that end up getting adopted. We hope you enjoyed our FUD TV daily news update. If you did, don't be afraid to smash up that like button. It really helps us and YouTube know you enjoyed this content, and it helps us know what to focus on and what you, the community, enjoy watching. Of course, if you're an investor or an enthusiast in the space, subscribing to our channel is not a bad idea. We do multiple cryptocurrency videos each and every day, and we're trying to give you the newest and truest in the space as much as is humanly possible. I'm Elio Trades, and it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and we'll catch you very soon on the next episode of FUD TV.